From ttnews.com, Endangered Bongo Antelope Relocation to Kenya. From prehistoric to present, my name is Ethan. This is Creature Guide Live Daily News. Animals transported from Florida's Rare Species Conservatory Foundation to sanctuary on slopes of Mount Kenya. So, Mount Kenya is located over in the central part of the country of Kenya and is the only area in which the subspecies of mountain bongo antelope is native to. Once you head to areas of the Democratic Republic of the Congo, the Central African Republic, and then parts of the Ivory Coast, Ghana, even Senegal, those areas are where the Eastern Bongo, not Eastern Bongo, this is the Eastern Bongo, the Western or Lowland Bongo exists. Mountain bongo antelopes are on the verge of extinction, with fewer than 100 left in the wild due to poaching and habitat loss. It is quite shocking considering the amount of conservation success stories that have occurred over in Kenya with different species of large mammals. It is a bit shocking that the mountain bongo specifically, has been struggling. But the lowland bongo subspecies has somewhere around 20 to 26,000 individuals. DHL Express transported 17 endangered mountain bongo antelopes from Florida to a conservation site in Kenya, the company announced in the spring. The mountain bongo antelopes were transported from the Rare Species Conservatory Foundation in Loxahatchee to a sanctuary on the slopes of Mount Kenya run by the Maru Bongo and Rhino Conservation Trust. Wow. So we have a lot of conservation organizations that were a part of this capture operation. Well, it wasn't really a capture operation. I mean, technically, but more specifically, relocation. Capture would mean if they were capturing the bongos over in some wildlife sanctuary or game reserve. DHL was tasked with the effort as part of a partnership with the African conservation charity Tusk. Okay. Let's see. We are so proud to be able to leverage the power and expertise of our global network to assist in transporting these critically endangered bongo antelopes to their new sanctuary in Kenya. Also, um, just to note, these are probably young bongo considering their horn size, and no, they do not shed their horns like deer. However, they are covered in an extra layer of keratin, which is what your fingernails and hair are made out of. But bongos are the third largest antelope in Africa, just behind the common and greater eland species. The bongo can reach somewhere around 980 pounds or a little, well, is it around that size? It's somewhere between 900 and 980 pounds or somewhere around like 350 to 400 kilograms. And actually, they're slightly larger than the greater kudu, which is quite shocking considering the kudu is much taller. But the bongo just has most of its weight concentrated in a 10-foot long body. They mostly feed on different species of fruit, shrubs, and occasionally even acacia trees. The logistics of moves such as this are incredibly complex, with the welfare of the animals being everyone's top priority. A huge thank you to our partners at Tusk, the Liwa Wildlife Conservancy, and everyone involved in making this important conservation mission a success. So I believe these bongos were released into the Liwa Wildlife Conservancy, which is not a very large protected area. It's just north of Mount Kenya, in which there are several protected areas within the vicinity. The Lewa Wildlife Conservancy is somewhere around 97 square miles or 200 square kilometers. And it also hosts black rhinos in the region. I do not know the precise population. I do know that in Kenya, there's a little over 1,000 black rhinos within the area. And I believe the largest male black rhino that we know of weighed over 6,200 pounds. And usually, on average, there's somewhere between 3 to 4,000 when it comes to the males. So that was a behemoth. And they actually have a somewhat similar feeding structure to the bongo to an extent, mainly when they're feeding on different species of shrubs, but as well as grasses, occasionally even fruits. And the black rhinos are making a comeback within the country of Kenya. You also have the Okay, this is probably a mountain bongo and most likely a female looking at the structure of the horns. I also wonder if she's pregnant too. Seems a bit wide. And this is just simply another picture of the female. You can tell this isn't over in Central Africa or over in the western part just due to the terrain over here. This looks like what you would find over in the Mount Kenya region. These are also quite shy animals. Now, and I say that because there are different species of antelopes that even the smaller species, they're actually not very timid and many of the things around them, but especially the people, whereas bongos tend to be quite timid. This is an individual probably located somewhere over in Gabon or maybe even the Central African Republic, considering there are African forest elephants within the vicinity. And just like the mountain bongo, the western or the lowland bongo will go over to salt licks to obtain essential minerals, possibly to also help dilute the toxins that it intakes from different species of plants in the region. And over in Mount Kenya, there are the Gurnook antelope, and the Gurnooks they might look quite tall, but the truth is that they're only about maybe 4'3" or around 1.5 meters. And these animals, when they rear up on their hind legs, which they do to reach higher up on smaller acacia trees or different species of shrubs, they can reach to over 6.6 feet or a little over 2 meters in height. And no, despite their giraffe like neck, they are not close relatives of the giraffe, not even the pronghorn. In fact, their closest relative is a member of the Antilopidae lineage of mammals called the springbok, and that's actually a grazer for the most part. Here it is on his hind limbs. So, yeah, he's around 6.5 feet in the air, and they only weigh somewhere around 115 pounds or a little over 50 kilograms. So, they're not very heavy creatures. They're quite lightweight. I do not know the approximate population of these guys. And then also over in the Liwa Wildlife Conservancy, you have the gravy zebra. And these guys are also making a huge comeback within not just Kenya, but as well as Ethiopia. They once numbered less than a few hundred individuals. Now there are over 3,000 of them, I think at least in Kenya alone. So they're making a huge comeback. This is the largest species of zebra within Africa. It can often be mistaken for the plain zebra species. Plain zebra only reach somewhere around 700 pounds or a little over 300 kilograms, whereas the gravy zebra can reach close to 1,000 pounds or around 500 kilograms. And they're mostly grazers. Now, here it looks like they're being supplementally fed. Maybe there's a massive dry season going on. And considering how few of these there are, this is one of those times where actually promote, or well, yeah, the supplemental feeding for them. There are certain instances when supplemental feeding occurs, and there can be disease problems that correlate with it, especially what possibly happened with elk over the Elk National Wildlife Refuge just south of Yellowstone National Park in the United States. But I don't think it's as much of a concern with the zebras, and it's also the dry season. But besides that, it's good to see that over in Kenya and especially the Mount Kenya region, we're seeing a major comeback with black rhinos, gravy zebras, and the bongo. I don't believe the Gurnook antelope's endangered, but let me know in the comments what your favorite species of antelope is, or Kenyan animal in general. And from prehistoric to present, my name is Ethan. This is Creature Guy Live Daily News. Remember to like, comment, subscribe if you love talking about animals, and share this show with everyone you know, because nothing is better than all animals all the time.